welcome back to Fairytale Reddit Stories. I'm your host Freyda, and today's theme is villains. That's right, we're back this week reading through some of the most villainous stories we could find on Fairytale Reddit. And who better to join us than today's special guests, two of the biggest villains in the Fairytale Kingdom, Cruella DeVille and the Evil Queen, everybody! Yes, call me Queenie. Thank you for having us, Freyda, darling. Your abode is charming. Yes, who did you slay to acquire such an alluring residence? Oh, it's just a big mortgage. So you two have worked together before? Of course! In fact, I just made a dress for Queenie's 30th. Sensational it is. Made of real kitten fur. Oh. 99 kittens, to be exact. Don't let the press hear that. They'll want to start a franchise immediately. Well, we are so excited to have you here, and without further ado, let's jump into today's stories. This first one comes from Confessions. It's titled, I kissed a corpse in the enchanted forest and now I have to marry it. Okay, so this is a 25-year-old male. I know this is going to sound insane, but please hear me out. So I was riding through the enchanted forest when I stumbled upon a glass coffin. Inside was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life. Think Margot Robbie meets Angelina Jolie. Absolutely stunning. She was lying there perfectly still, almost like she was sleeping. No breathing, no movement, just frozen. Now, I'm not exactly swimming in options when it comes to women, and I figured I'd never get a chance like this again, so I got off my horse and went to take a closer look. I don't know why, but as I got closer, I heard a voice in my head telling me to kiss her. I know it sounds crazy, but I leaned in and pecked her on the cheek. As soon as I pulled away, her eyes shot open. I literally jumped back and thought I was about to get a punch in the face, but she grabbed me, and before I could even process what was happening, she started kissing me back. It turns out she was waiting for true love's kiss and thinks I'm her betrothed, as in we're now fully engaged and she's planning a 500 guest wedding. Don't get me wrong, she's super cute and all, but I've only just met her. What if we have nothing in common? What if she chews with her mouth open? What if she doesn't like dogs, or worse, likes cats? I'm kind of stuck now. If I break it off, she'll definitely tell everyone I'm the guy who kissed her dead body and then just ghosted her. But if I go through with this, I'm tied to somebody I don't even know for life. Any advice appreciated? Yes, there's one word for men like this, and that's predators. This sounds like a classic case of f*** around and find out. There are always consequences, and it sounds like he's getting the karma he deserves. Yes, how many times must we go over the rules of consent? I mean, there's being a villain, and then there's being a criminal. Yeah, let's read some comments here. Yikes, dude, you really went full Prince Charming on this one, huh? Have you tried talking to her about your feelings? Don't forget, she knows nothing about you either and is probably having similar thoughts. Try asking her out on a date so you can get to know each other better. Another one here says, bro, be careful before you break anything off. It sounds like you broke a nasty curse and there might be further dark magic tying you together now. There's probably a loophole, but I would invest in a mage lawyer to investigate your options. Yes, I actually like that idea. And if OP is watching, I did actually major in law, so I could help out. Well, there is an update here. Edit. Thanks for all the positive comments. I spoke with her this morning and she's agreed to go on a date to get to know each other. Wish me luck. Yes, I'm sure she's a nice girl. Yes. Let's hope so. Okay, next story. This one comes from Am I the Devil? And it's titled, I kidnapped a child to make myself beautiful. Okay, so before anyone freaks out, please hear me out. I know what I did was terrible, but I had my reasons. So a while back, I, 59 female, was starting to look old. Like, really old. Grey hair, wrinkles, the lot. I'd always been the beautiful one in the group, and people used to tell me I was the fairest in the land. I doubt that, but okay. I was pretty, I'll admit it, but then age crept up on me. And trust me, nobody tells you how devastating it is to wake up and not even recognise yourself. I had no idea how invisible it would make me to society. Long story short, I found a girl whose hair would keep me staying young. As long as I kept touching it every few days, my youth would remain intact. So naturally I did what anyone would do in my position. I took her and raised her, making her think I was her mum, and kept her in a tower so she couldn't escape. She had no idea about any of this, and I kept her inside by telling her the outside world was dangerous. Sure enough, after a while, she got curious and frustrated and she has now run away. Now, without her hair, I'm back to being really old and honestly, I'm just lost. I thought I'd have beauty forever, but now I've got nothing. I know I messed up and I'm not asking for sympathy, but if you can understand what it's like to be trapped in a cycle of vanity, I could really use some advice. How do I move on from this? How do I deal with being ugly again?
As someone who has struggled with self-image, I can relate to where she's coming from. Growing old and obsolete as a woman is difficult, fairy tale character or not. But it is important to remember that we are so much more than what we see in the mirror. It is not our purpose to be beautiful.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. Let's read some comments here. This one says, okay, first of all, I get that age is tough, but what you did was super messed up. You literally kidnapped a child and held her hostage. That's not something that's justifiable just because you're feeling invisible. It's time to address your self-image issues and start embracing who you are beyond your appearance. Aging means you've lived through stuff, and you should be proud of that. I like that one. Another one here. Wow, you're definitely the devil, but it's good to hear you have a conscience. You don't need to be young and beautiful for your existence to be worthwhile. Age is inevitable, but beauty comes in so many forms. I'd suggest looking into therapy or support groups for body image or aging to help with your mental health. Honestly, I feel bad for you because it sounds like you were really struggling with how you view yourself.
I think the fairy tale world puts a lot of pressure on women to be beautiful. I mean, a lot of the key storylines revolve around beauty or jealousy, but, darlings, I think anyone can look fabulous with the right outfit. Yes, well, worst case scenario, I can lend her a mirror that will tell her she's the fairest in the land. If you threaten it with a hammer, that is.
I love that. And there's some really useful advice here in these comments. I'll definitely be coming back here if I'm having a low self-esteem day. So let's move on to our next story. This one comes from Confessions. I came up with an elaborate plan to fulfill my foot fetish. This comes from a 26-year-old man. Let's read the story. So I come from a very wealthy family. My dad is pretty traditional and wants me to marry ASAP so I can carry on the family name. So he threw a huge party and invited every single woman in the kingdom to attend. Long story short, the party was a success, and I really hit it off with this girl on the dance floor. She was gorgeous, blonde hair with blue eyes, wearing the most incredible blue dress. For some reason, just before the clock struck midnight, she started acting really weird and abruptly said she had to leave. Before I could ask why, she was out of the door and sped off in a carriage. I was about to panic because I didn't know her name or anything, but then I noticed she'd left one of her glass slippers behind. I rushed to pick it up and saw her name and address was printed on the bottom. Now, at this point, I should have just got in touch with her and we could have lived happily ever after. However, I have a foot fetish and decided to take advantage of the situation. I rubbed her details off the bottom of the slipper and pretended that I didn't know who it belonged to and started a nationwide search to find the girl whose foot fit the slipper. Ultimately, I went around to every woman's house in the kingdom and had them show me their feet to see if the shoe fit. It was pretty devious, I'll admit, but I eventually did find the girl again and we're together now. She still has no idea I knew who she was the entire time and thinks it was a huge romantic gesture to find her, but really, I was having the time of my life.
No way. I tried that shoe on. Yes, I remember it well. Shut up. He came round with his entourage and placed it on my foot. I did wonder why it was taking so long. I had a fresh pedi, so maybe that's why. Was it a good shoe? Yes, it was made of glass. I do remember, yes. Quite small. The shoe, that is.
Okay, top comment. Bro, you literally had her name and address. You didn't have to go on a full kingdom-wide foot tour. Another guy, my guy, you turned I found the love of my life into an excuse for a foot scavenger hunt. Big respect. Also, are we just glossing over the fact that a glass slipper fell off someone's foot while running? How loose was it?
Yes, maybe she did it on purpose, you know.
I guess if she was rushing to leave and wanted to let him know who she was, then that's one way of doing it. I mean, she knew the address was printed on the bottom. Another one here says, have you considered telling her or are you just going to live with this weird foot-fueled secret forever.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's seen this post.
Well, there is an update.
Oh my God.
Okay, update. I didn't expect this post to blow up, and unfortunately, I think my girlfriend has seen it. Or she hasn't spoken to me in a few days, but I'm going to bring it up with her tonight.
Is there another update?
Unfortunately not, and this was a week ago, so I don't know. We'll keep you posted. If there's an update by next week, then we need an update.
OP, if you're seeing this, we need an update.
Okay, let's move on to the final post of the episode. This one's from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for cutting off a pirate's hand and feeding it to a crocodile? Okay, I, eternally 12 male, live in Neverland, where I lead a group of kids called the Lost Boys. We've had ongoing beef with this pirate, Captain Hook, in his 50s, who's been trying to kill me for years. Like full-on sword fights, kidnapping my friends, sending his crew after us, you name it, it's a whole big thing. So one day we were dueling again, and I had an opportunity to get the upper hand, no pun intended. And in the heat of the moment, I sliced off his hand. Not gonna lie, I thought it was kind of funny at the time, but instead of just leaving it there, I decided to toss it to a crocodile. Turns out the croc really liked the taste and has been following him around ever since, hoping for seconds. Now the guy's got a hook for a hand and is extra mad at me. I kind of thought this was just part of our usual game, but recently one of the Lost Boys told me maybe I went too far. I mean, yeah, I maimed the guy for life and gave him a lifelong reptilian stalker, but he was trying to kill me first. So Reddit, am I the asshole?
I must say I like his style. You know, chop the hand clean off. I mean, this boy must have some good fighting skills. He's fighting a 50-year-old man.
Well, it says he's eternally 12, so he may actually be older than Captain Hook. Like, he could have been 12 for 200 years.
Oh, right.
Top comment here. Pirates tend to mind their business unless treasure is involved. I bet this pirate wasn't even after you at first. You probably just kept breaking into his ship, pranking his crew, and messing with his stuff. Have you ever considered that you might be the villain here? Yeah, I do wonder who started it, because if this is an ongoing feud, like, who made the first move? Why has it evolved into something that's, you know, such a big deal? Another comment here. Pirate Code says, if you lose a limb in battle, you just slap a hook on it and move on. Honestly, you might have done him a favour. He's way more intimidating now.
Yes, and attractive. Oh, also, if he needs a croc taken care of, I could do with a new handbag. Yes, I must say, this boy is not the asshole. He's clearly done this Captain Hook a favour for his image as a pirate.
Well, that's it from us today. Huge thank you for our guests. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us, darling. Yes, anytime, Freyda. We love the show.
And if you've enjoyed today's video, please make sure to subscribe and smash that like button, because we'll be back next week with brand new stories and new guests. Until then, stay whimsical, fairy tale friends.